Moms the Word. Naku mga mommies. Ngayon po ay i-introduce ko na sa inyo ang aming guest for today, the formator of Major Seminary. Let's all welcome Father Manny Flores. Hello, Father Manny. Welcome to our show. Congratulations na, ano ba, nung June lang?
Yes, yes.
Last year, na-ordain si, tama ba, na-ordain?
Yes.
Si Father. Yes, nako. Ito, behave na, magbe-behave na ba tayo?
Oo, we need to.
Oo. Ako, syempre, mga mommies, kailangan natin ng guidance ng church sa ganitong mga bagay-bagay na pinag-uusapan, ha? Ayan. Naku, ito pong, ano po ang masasabi ng church sa sa itong abortion or itong mga nababalita ngayon?
Well, as to concerning abortion, as we all know, it's really the killing of the unborn in all its stages. In all its stages, starting from conception until, of course, before it gets born or come into the world. And thus, the church stand here is that we always uphold life, human life at that, and thus, anything that would go against that one, desecrate it, kill it, or lose it, that would, the church would go against it. So when it comes to abortion in all its forms, the church would say a big no-no to that.
So in short po, Father, from the day na na-conceive yung fetus, it's already considered
Alive. So,
alive.
human life.
Yes.
Human person. So the moment that the sperm and the eggs,
The eggs
meet, and that is considered conception. From that time on, that is considered a human person, and thus we are, we'll say, obligated, or say we are going to protect it. Talagang we're going to protect it and consider it as a human person.
Kasi di ba remember, meron ngayon hindi naman ngayon, actually parang may mga nagsasabi na naku, wala pang heartbeat yan, naku.
Yeah, and,
Dugo
and
pa lang.
in the medical profession, we consider the age of viability pag 6 months.
6 months,
Yes.
right, oo. So, ganoon din po ba? Is that considered talaga? Like,
I think the church would has always upheld that the moment of conception would be once it has fertilized, kung kumbaga. So that would remain. And I think it's not only the church that oppose this one. There are also some medical people, some doctors, or some even medical groups who would go with such contention of the church.
Totoo naman kasi, di ba, once yung sperm cell tsaka yung egg nag-meet na, it's already alive.
Yeah, it's
Oo.
Because that practically goes on in its own. The mother doesn't, hey, you're doing this one, and hindi naman.
Wala pang paa. Oo.
So, I think the mother is not saying, hey, I'm building this one. Hindi naman.
Yes.
Practically, it goes on its own. So, how do you explain that one? So, in this case, well, we are not a medical expert on this matter, pero at that point, the church would like to believe that at that moment, that is already a human person.
Yes. Sabi nga kasi, Father, di ba, sino ba tayo para kumitil ng buhay?
Yes, that's true.
paano naman po yung mga yun nga, napuntis, nang hindi ginusto, mga na-rape, mga talagang, naman, emotionally
Depressed.
Na
Oo.
ano po
Yes.
masasabi natin doon?
Actually, there is a better way, no? Better way in responding to these cases. There is more a human and more pastoral approach to this.
And which
So
is,
true enough, there are unwanted pregnancies, and here we could go for counseling. Actually,
Yes.
the church is offering. So for young women or women at that
But
who
then-
have these cases, so they could undergo such counseling. And there are also other alternatives, or if not options, wherein one also is to destroy our mentality, especially kung wedlock, nagkaroon ng, let's say, buntis yung babae, yung parang nakakahiya masyado. So we have to deal with this kind of mentality. So at least, I've been overhearing your conversation a while ago.
si Father nakaganon
Sorry.
kanina.
Talagang kailangan we have to deal with this one. Well, it's not to become liberated, but at least to broaden our horizon, to go and understand first the person, because actually she didn't ask for it. And true enough, yung mga cases na mga ganun. But also there is also other options like adoption. Okay, go on with the pregnancy. We'll take care of it and go for adoption.
But then, Father, there are a lot of cases wherein women do not know whom to run to, so the church is not that open with as what I see it, with that kind of counseling. Hindi kasi nila, I personally don't
Maybe
know that,
kulang
there is
siguro sa
counseling
no?
for women on those kinds of cases with pertaining on the involvement of the church.
I would just like to maybe inform you that there is a so-called commission on women and children that deals with these kinds of cases, and there's also the commission on family. So practically, the church is also already responding to these kinds of cases.
That's good.
And it would also depend upon per dioceses. Example of I know, no, Diocese of Baguio has this. It's actually a free counseling. So any person, any women or even a man, if just in case na depression siya dahil para sa girlfriend niya, could come over. And I would just like to say that maybe a good news for all of us to know that the church is open to this. Mayroon po mga counselors,
Ayan,
even
oo.
priests, mga madre, hindi lang madre, may mga husband and wife pa to volunteers.
Your own family, you know?
Pwede rin po. Actually,
Yes,
sometimes what they do is they call the family to let them understand. No?
Tsaka di ba, Father, yung unang-unang tao na dapat umintindi sa kalagayan mo is your family yourself. You do not run to your friends. Di ba? Kung ang family, talagang matotorture ang isang mother-to-be kung ang family mismo ang parang nag-o-oppose sa'yo. Or,
So, here-
yun yung nagpa-provoke para mag-undergo ng abortion.
Yes, that's
Yung
true. So,
fear.
in this case then, it's not actually only the church who's going to respond to this. Actually, all of us have to work together about this. And this is the nice thing right now, that we're beginning to be open and see that problems nowadays is not only responded by an institution or a person or only the government, but we need to really work together concerning these kinds of cases po.
That's good kasi some of the victims or yung mga nasa ganong sitwasyon, natatakot sila minsan to go to church kasi sometimes they feel na, oh my gosh, nakakahiya or baka i-condemn ako ni Father or yung mga ganong
Magdasal ka ng ganito.
bagay. So it's good thing to know na open ang church po at yun nga, meron silang mga counseling so huwag tayong matakot na lumapit. Pero Father, question lang. Kasi curious ako. Hindi naman ako curious. O, diba? Kasi parang yan, kunyari, yung kanina, yung nabuntis nang hindi ginusto. Tapos itong si mother and father niya, ay hindi, kailangan pakasalan mo.
Pakasalan.
Hindi pwedeng, di ba? Alam nga naman ganyan pinilit.
Which is nasa norm na kasi ng
Diba?
Filipino culture.
Yes. Oo.
Nabuntis.
Nakakahiya. Oo.
Pero ayaw
Nakakahiya
nung
sa mga bata.
ayaw nung nanay. Ayaw nung...
You might be surprised
Ano
that the
gagawin?
church actually does not like that one. You force. Actually, it's like getting into marriage na you're being forced. Shotgun marriages. And in this case then, hindi ho maganda ho yun kasi in the long run, you're forced. Yeah.
But Father,
Never
I-
like being coerced or forced.
Yes, but Father, I reckon that the church does not, hindi sila nag-agree sa premarital sex. And yet
Of
you're
course.
and yet you're saying na you do not agree with forced wedding. So paano yun?
Well, one thing is that you're referring because we're talking about a woman who got pregnant already, no?
Yes. Oo.
So, and sometimes in our culture, ang nangyayari is pakasalan mo. The church would just would like to discourage such thing because in the long run, the relationship might get sour and the family, in quotation, might just get sour
Nawawalan,
also.
yes.
Masisira rin lang. So, the answer here is not immediately marriage. Ang sagot doon, hindi kasal. You get to look into the life first, no? Maybe let them get to know each other or what. And then, if ever it doesn't work, then so be it. But one thing is that, concerning yung pregnancy, hindi ang sagot nun ay kung going to pregnancy dahil ayaw mo, ayaw ko rin, patayin na lang natin, that's not the answer. That's not the answer. There are many better ways and humane ways to deal with this. So one is, just like what I've shared a while back, go for adoption, wherein hopefully the government also would help. No? Kasi may mga agencies rin, mga institutions who could do this one. So in this case then, now for concerning premarital sex, that would be another issue. That would be another thing. Because premarital sex is going way ahead. Going way ahead the Marriage Act. So in this case then, I think you have to understand what is to go into a relationship. Okay? So I think mas magandang tingnan muna natin what does it really mean to enter into a relationship? No? Hindi ba yung puro pera na agad? So,
Si Father, bira ka na.
so,
Boxing na agad.
kung bibirahin mo agad, parang wow. So, yun. I think there's something wrong with that, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang inunahan mo yung tao, Lord. You don't try to get to know first the person.
Ayan tuloy na. Servo na tayo tatlo. Sorry.
A relationship is not based on already love. It is based on
Yes, last.
Yes.
Pero,
Ayun ang danger ko kasi. Once you,
Okay.
you base your relationship on that one, then you would really depend on that already.
yes.
So, kumbaga pag hindi kayo, that actually, I think you've talked about this already. So, more or less, hopefully you got to understand already about premarital sex. There's something wrong with that. Practically, parang nasisira rin yung pagkasabi mo ng I love you.
Yes.
Okay? So, parang
I love you, but let's make love.
Yeah. And there's really something wrong with that. Pero anyway.
Parang question, wait lang. Nako,
Baka
eto.
na.
Oh, father
Abortion tayo, abortion.
Pero okay lang, huwag ka mag-alala. Pwede natin ikanto. Kaya mong ba ano yung answer mo? Question. Kasi nga, di ba, pag nanganak na, tapos hindi kinasal. Pero hindi ba meron tayong requirement sa church?
when it comes to
Paano siya, bibinyagan to na
Bibinyagan,
hindi
yeah.
kasal ang magulang?
Oh, yeah.
Or like that? I think
Oh,
they're
meron.
strict in
Yeah.
Yes.
the cathedral right now.
That would depend upon jurisdictions.
Uh-huh.
So example, sa first child, well, eto yung unwanted pregnancy, sinasabi natin, no? So, syempre, hindi na kasalanan.
Yes, don't worry.
Hindi natin
Ano nga tato dyan, no?
Hindi na niya kasalanan yun. So, one thing is that, why would the church prevent this child of having the grace of baptism? So, in this case then, maiintindihan naman yun. Pero iba na yung dating na pag after first, may second pa, may third pa.
May
Iba na yun.
kasal.
Ibang kwento.
With
Ibang
consent
kwento
na
na
yun.
yun. Ibang kwento na yun. That means,
But there's a certain
ganon.
degree.
Uh-huh.
yes.
May certain degree.
Kung first okay pa, siguro maintindihan natin.
Okay.
Pero kung
Kung second,
second,
third,
ibang lalaki na
kasi-
naman. The third, ibang lalaki na naman.
hindi pero
may habit na talaga. Oo, may habit.
But if you have second child, may same asawa, same husband, same person, same guy. Tapos kunwari hindi pa nga sila nagpakasal. Let's say
yeah.
they're just civil or let's say kahit hindi civil they're just partners. Or may second child na sila, alam ka naman father, hindi nila binyagan yung...
Ayun.
So,
Now,
parang ganun.
parang ang pangit naman tingnan that you're asking for graces for your children, but you
you
yourselves are
yourselves
not asking for graces.
O yan, kasi sila kasi
Oh,
tanong
diba?
ka ng tanong eh.
Diba parang pangit nun? Parang sinabi mo, huwag kang papasok, hindi ka naman pumapasok sa mga hindi mo pinapakita yung gusto. No?
Okay.
Kumbaga, magtipid ka ng tubig kung maglaba ka Diyos ko po. Parang
Ba't ba tayo nakarating doon?
Yes! Nako, ngayon po, ang dami ng cases of abortion. Medyo lumulobo na ho ang abortion natin every year. So, ano pong masasabi niyo doon? Kasi ano pa rin tayo sa contraceptives di ba?
Yeah.
Parang, syempre super no-no yan sa church.
But if it were you alone, Father, would you like?
Well, one thing is that concerning contraceptive mentality or concerning contraception, looking into reflecting upon this thing, there's really something wrong with it, no? Kasi parang whenever you do the marital act, the marriage act, or sex at that, it's really giving of yourself to each other. Pero ngayon linagyan mo ng contraceptive, parang sinasabi mo, parang sinasabi mo I love you.
Okay.
Parang you're preventing yourself from doing it, from really giving yourself into it, and other things.
Ganun pala yung
It's
sabi ng
not
contraceptive.
really it is you preventing
Kasi
pregnancy from happening. Because reality is,
Here is
hindi
that whenever we do the conjugal act, always bear in mind its unitive and procreative aspect. Now that you might have the conception that the church is only saying go forth and multiply.
Oo nga, paano
of course.
ba?
No. Hindi po yun yung sinasabi ng simbahan. Of course, the responsible parenthood will also enter there, but also bear in mind also the unitive aspect. And in this case then, contraception, ang tendency nito is to objectify a person. parang ang after mo lang is the pleasure. No? In quotation, okay? In quotation.
Pero di ba,
Tendency.
Father, yun naman talaga yung parang innocent concept ng sex. It's for pleasure talaga.
Yes.
Oo.
But that's not the solely thing. Yun lang.
Kasi
The
tayo,
tendency now-
we're above sa mga animals, di ba?
Yeah.
So, yung concept natin ng pleasure is different sa lower class ng animals kasi yung pleasure, it comes with our emotion sa partner natin. So, yung concept ng contraceptive, if you're using them during the act of sa marital anong term nyo doon kanina?
Marital act.
The marital act. Nawawala tuloy ako. Kasi naman. Parang, kasi sa Pilipinas alone, we have a population issue. So,
Yes.
ito yung kumbaga parang way ng government natin para masolution yung problem natin. Which is, unfortunately, in church and our government,
Nagka-clash.
oo, nagka-clash
I
na
think
lang.
we better clarify some matters. It's not that the church does not want our population to be managed well.
Mhm.
No. The church is aware that yes, our population is growing, and that's a concern. And it's also affecting our underdevelopment and our progress, so to speak. And that's true. But it is not the only thing. Or kasi laging propaganda is like poverty is because of population.
Yes.
But are we not trying to look on other aspects?
Like
Minsan natutuwa
poor
nga ako.
education.
Yes. Like the poor education,
Poor values.
trabaho, and all these things.
Occupation.
Minsan natutuwa nga ako pag titingnan niyo po yung ating ang daming construction almost every day.
Yes.
How can you say that we're poor?
Mhm.
So in this
Shopping
case,
every day.
Oh.
SM.
So in this case then, it's not actually about the population. It's maybe on the resources. How are we managing our resources? And part of it is also managing the population. Pero to say that it's because of that one and to use all our resources to curb our population, I think there's something wrong with that. So dun ho na medyo sumasang-ayon ang ating simbahan. And this case then, gusto namin we question such program. Because concerning the number of children for a family, that would depend upon the mother and the father, the
Capability
parents.
of the family to raise their
capability.
children properly.
And it's for them to plan it. But for them, that there would be a suggestion, you should do this one, dictating what to do, how many, and there's something wrong with that. That means you're not respecting their freedom. But of course, doesn't mean na anak lang sila ng anak. But they have to take in consideration also the responsibility.
Yes, the keyword is responsibility.
Yes, responsibility. And that the church would like also to look into that. That's why now is education. Lagi talagang inform people properly what
Which
families.
is really lacking
Yes.
information
Yes.
because of the poor education that most people get. Yung education nila when it comes to these types of issues and aspects.
And
Why not?
if you're going to enter to the sex education thing, may mga ano lang kami dito, even the programs kasi
Yeah.
it's not everything that is given, or if not because everything it's legalized na you do this one, not every legal thing is moral. So here the church enters. It's not that we meddle with the things, but when it comes to morality, the church enters.
Pero meron suggestion ngayon na merong sex education na para sa mga
For-
sa school,
Yeah.
right?
But is
So okay lang po sa
yeah,
church.
Sa church?
Yung kasi I think they are pursuing on this para nga maiwasan yung mga
Teenage
Teenage
pregnancy.
pregnancy.
Yes, yung mga yan, abortion and all that stuff.
Sex education is good, okay? It's good that we get to inform young people. But of course, please let us not remove the responsibility from the parents. Ang nangyayari kasi parang bahala na yung school sa iyo.
Oo nga.
Wala na kami dito. That is wrong. So, well, let's say not wrong, pero there's something wrong with that. That we give everything. Where's the responsibility of the parents now? So, yun naman po. And of course, yung as much as possible, proper to the age. For example, kasi may mga programs kaming naririnig. Example, pagdalhin mo ng talong yung bata. And then they would bring in condom. Ano yung gamit nun? So,
Ay, may
there is a
ganon,
program.
Father?
You
Ano
don't
ba
know?
no? Ano ba?
You don't know that one? So,
No, I don't
there are
know.
cases na ganun po. That's how sex education...
They bring talong and,
And then they will
what?
have to make use of a condom.
What grade is that?
Elementary.
I don't think that's not proper. But depend, hello?
But shouldn't also the church do it
There is a program na
separate?
ganun sana.
Separate.
Ganun ang gagawin nila.
But I think
Pero that's why medyo tutol kami sa program ng sex education kung ganun ang tinuturo sa mga bata.
Oo naman.
I don't think that's when you say sex education. I think it's not just on the
Yeah.
act of doing it or what. But I think pag tinuro mo siya sa elementary, syempre yung elementary level naman tayo, di ba? Yung parang dapat mo na
Perception
yung
kasi
male
ng
and
bata.
female, parang ganon, or like napupunta sa science more on sa
More
akin
on
ganon
science.
muna, and then on yung medyo anong part niya, I think it's dapat
High
high
school
school
na tayo
or what,
nag-
hindi naman
Although
sa
this is
my gosh.
we were able to look into or we were able to know this one because may mga programs na nagagawa dito, parang mga pilot schools. Pero hopefully the government has responded to this thing. And also of course with the church helping correcting such mentalities.
So dapat suggestion din siguro it's better if per church, I mean in a certain place,
Per
diba?
parish.
Per parish church, dapat may interaction din sila when it comes to these kinds of issues.
That's why parents when they look
Parents with
into-
children,
Oh.
maganda yon.
Parents look into the books of your children. Okay, so para makita nyo baka mamaya panahon na tuturo sa kanila.
Kung kung anak ko yun, magugulat. Kasi ulo magdadala ng talong. Ano medyo lang, ngayon ko yata ng gano'n. Hindi ko feel. Wait lang, anong school niya? Charing.
Huwag niyo na hanapin.
Charing lang. Pero wait lang, Father. So, paano po yung RH bill? Meron tayong sinusulong ngayon ng RH bill. Opposed po ulit ang church? Kasi parang I think this is the only, yun ang binibigay na solusyon ng ating government.
Yes.
For the population
Control.
Well, concerning the RH bill, the reproductive health bill, it has some good pointers. Okay? We'll take in consideration, marami nga rin na po silang good pointers. And that's very true. Like responsible parenthood, sex education, informing people about this and that, that's good. But there are also may mga propositions or statements siya na medyo questionable. Wherein it promotes abortion, and promotes contraceptive mentality. Wherein dito talaga binabanatan. Although this is not the only thing that we get to see in the RH bill, pero marami pa hong ibang propositions or statements siya na questionable. So, na minsan parang mas pinapaano pa yung sabi niya is to inform everything about how to manage the population. Pero parang one-sided lang, hindi niya na tinitingnan din yung natural family planning. Minsan puro papunta na lang sa contraception. Wherein sometimes not knowing that the contraception is practically abortifacient. So,
Yeah.
abortifacient, ibig sabihin, capable siya mag-abort.
Yeah.
So, in this case then, not all contraceptives are pang-contra, that is to have no conception. Pero meron pala siyang triple effect, that is abort.
I think the reason why our government is pursuing this the use of contraception kasi is also para din maiwasan yung diseases. Yes, kasi you cannot deny the fact that people are getting younger and younger sa pag-engage sa sex nowadays. So yun yung parang tinatry, hindi kasi nadidiktahan lahat ng tao yan. Parang pinaprevent nila this young people who are engaging in this acts.
Here's the certain problem with that. We're only responding to things as they are. Na kung nangyari na, eto na. We're not trying to look into how are we going to make it a longer term. And just like what you've said that beautiful thing. Sometimes we cannot prevent it from people doing it. Actually, we can by letting them know more, widen their horizon. It's not only the sex thing. There's more to it. So, if we get into that one, about, example, yung abstention, looking into what is relationship is, although it's really a changing of mentality, widening our horizons about this, that would help us respond to these problems. No? So, kung ganun po yung gagawin natin, definitely
So malaki po talaga yung part ng parents to educate their children
Yes.
sa mga ganitong
And
sensitive na bagay.
Right now, as we all know, the young people are quite dependent on media nowadays. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
medyo
Internet.
tube,
Internet,
kumbaga,
TV,
yeah, all
name
this electronic gadgetries. So, it's nice also that the media has a part here.
Oo.
But
Kaya
then,
minsan nakakaano rin po yung makikita mo yung mga ilang advertisement na mas pinopromote yung contraceptive mentality, not having a child, mas preference na materialistic way of living. Minsan nga, napag-isip-isip namin isn't it before how our parents would work out before? Basta lang mapag-aral kita.
Yeah.
Diba? Ang ganda ho nun, basta mapag-aral lang kita. I will
Yes.
really work para lang mapag-aral ko kayong lahat. Pero ngayon, naku, may pagkain na, naku, may anak, buntis ka na naman, paano natin papunta para gagandahin ng ating bahay? No, di ba? Parang ganon. So, nagiging materialistic. So, here, the shift of mentality, no, that we became more materialistic, looking more into a more of selfish thing, that's, doon nagkaroon ng problema. But if we try to deal with such, mas maganda ho sana yun. No? Rather than,
But I would like to ask, wouldn't it be an exception to the rule if, for example, you were born, your birth parent had AIDS, and then you were born having AIDS, then as you grow up, you would like to have a family of your own. Wouldn't it be an excuse to use a contraceptive to prevent your future wife or
that's,
husband
from
from acquiring such?
really, that's a very good question. But one thing is that you don't get to see that day-to-day, everyday, ordinary life. But these are particular cases already. Well, I don't know how to respond to that one. But I think the church has institutions to deal with these things. So, example, one thing is that you have to face the reality. You have AIDS, and thus, yes, you want to have a family, but sorry, you have this reality. So, maybe a bit of sacrifice on your part of it.
So in short, Father, the church upholds to say no to abortion in any form and in all stage of pregnancy.
Yes, that's because it shows that it's quite inhumane. And kahit tanggalin natin ang pananampalataya, minsan you find it gory already to think of taking one's life.
Have you ever encountered, Father, a woman coming to you and confessing na, Father, I had an abortion?
Well, I have encountered.
How did you react to that?
Since there is a so-called seal of confession,
I mean, ano yung
I could not,
advice
I
na?
could not, I could not,
Parang ano eh, no?
could not put into yung details niya.
Yeah.
But of course, I have encountered such kinds, no, such instances. But one thing is that how am I going to deal with it? Of course, deal it. How would Jesus deal with it? He does not condemn. Say, tanga mo, no? You don't say that one. Of course. Definitely, you're not going to say that one.
Si Father kasi bata pa kasi. Ano ba naman ginawa mo, iha?
No, that's not the way. Of course, look into a compassionate one that she was able to do such a thing. That doesn't mean that it would be for condemnation. But of course, that would be a different kind kung parang wala naman siyang remorse. Na parang okay lang.
Yeah, yun na yung bad.
There's something wrong with that.
May nagpapatanong, Father. Pag ang abortion daw ba ay naisip mo pa lang at hindi mo pa ginawa, is it considered a sin?
Well, when it comes to intention, so that means you're still intending it. In itself, it's not yet that a sin. Okay? Kasi in the process, you might change your mind.
Yes.
Okay? But if you go with your intention and act on it,
And after that's a different.
that's a different thing. But for now, you're intending it. That means wala pa naman yung object, wala pa naman yung act.
So there are some cases na yon nandun yung intention, and then may ginawa silang mali, and then pero natuloy. So sin ito kahit hindi natuloy itong kanyang balak na masama.
What do you mean?
Nagulo si mother.
Medyo
O, kunyari.
nagulo po ako sa...
Ito si nanay.
Uh-huh.
May balak na masama. Itong si Nining. May balak na masama. Intensyon. Tapos gumawa siya ng something nga dun sa ano niya. Parang gusto niya ipanaglag, di ba? So, may I take siya ng whatever and and then, hindi naman natuloy. Parang nabuhay pa rin si
That's
anak.
already considered. Actually, you have taken in something already. That means you have the intention, you have the motivation,
May action
and you
na.
have the action already. Pero kaso nga lang,
Makapit.
sorry.
Makapit, oo. Gusto
Life.
ko mabuhay.
Gusto ko mabuhay.
Oo.
Actually, that's something that you should always bear in mind. That really that life in you would like to live. Okay?
Actually,
And it
di
does
ba?
not depend upon you to say, I can take you away.
True. Oo nga, no?
Pero
Maawa
nakakaawa
naman kayo.
yung cases na sinabi mo, Sheila. May cases na gano'n na tinry niya ipa-abort, pero natuloy pa rin. And then lumabas yung bata na deformed.
O, di ba?
Yeah.
Oo, nakaka...
Kawawa lang yung bata.
So,
eh. Very selfish. Very
Oo.
selfish.
So dito really, counseling would be really very helpful. An open-minded person and one who would really listen to this person is really needed. Minsan mga to troubled. So in this case that they really need to be listened to so that they will know what to do. Minsan kasi hindi natin alam ang nangyari. So we don't know what to do.
We just really have to be responsible for our own actions.
That's true. That's very true.
Ay, nako, ayan,
Always
mga mommies.
think
Sorry.
twice. Think twice.
Yes.
Many
Think
times.
twice. Ay,
Not only twice.
Think many times.
Millions
Yan.
of times.
Millions of times. Ako, mga mommies. Hi, hindi pa po tapos ang aming chikahan, ha? Kaya huwag po kayong aalis. Magbabalik po ang Mom's Word.